Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, I'm going to guide you through a truly profound spiritual perspective on why things going completely wrong might actually be exactly what we need. Seriously, it's a fascinating paradigm shift. It completely challenges everything we think we know about suffering, setbacks, and, let's be honest, our desperate, constant desire for control.
Okay, let's take a quick look at the agenda for today to see how life's greatest difficulties can actually become our absolute biggest opportunities. Number 1 is the lecture's origin. Then 2, the illusion of control. 3, a tale of two curses. 4, waves versus the deep. 5, waking up to reality. And 6, main points and summary. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The lecture's origin. Mumbai, September 27th, 2009. So I want to share the main takeaways with you from a really incredible lecture given by Radhanath Swami. We are going to look closely at a detailed explanation of his teachings from that specific day at ISKCON Chowpatty in Mumbai, India.
To give you some context, the Swami was lecturing on the Srimad Bhagavatam, specifically Canto 8, Chapter 4, texts 2 through 4, and he said this: "Reversals, even of the most difficult kind, have the potential to be the greatest opportunities in our lives." That quote right there, that brilliantly illustrates his central theme. Basically, he argues that our material existence is built on this illusion, this consciousness that I am the controller. And when that control is completely shattered by reversals, major life setbacks, we get a unique, totally unprecedented opportunity for spiritual growth.
Section 2. The Illusion of Control. Subtitle: The Hospital for the Heart.
When I first heard this metaphor about the hospital, it just instantly clicked. Radhanath Swami explains that we tend to think adopting a spiritual path means, well, an end to our worldly problems. We kind of subconsciously expect that because we're doing the right things, God owes us good health, obedient kids, or a booming business. But actually, engaging in spiritual life is a lot like checking into a hospital for the heart. Think about it. When you go into a hospital for surgery, you usually experience way more pain and restriction right after the operation than you did before you even walked in the door. The disease, our intense desire to control everything, is being surgically removed. And yeah, that process is painful, but it is absolutely necessary for any true healing to begin.
So when these painful reversals hit, how do we react? Radhanath Swami outlines 3 classes of reactions. The third class reaction is just deciding God doesn't exist. Because, hey, if he did, he wouldn't do this to us, right? The second class reaction is believing in God, but totally blaming him for our suffering. But then there's the first class reaction. And this is the absolute highest, most liberating response, actively thanking Krishna. It's this profound realization that the setback is actually perfectly orchestrated to help us seek true shelter, rather than just relying on our own fragile illusion of control.
Section 3. A Tale of Two Curses. Subtitle: The Epic of King Indrajumna.
Let's trace the timeline of King Indrajumna here. Get this. He was a highly pious king who, in his later years, retired to a mountain ashram just to focus on his meditation. Well, one day, while he's completely absorbed in a trance, the sage Agastya Muni visits. And because the king didn't immediately snap out of it to offer hospitality, for that brief moment, the sage cursed him to become a dumb elephant for an entire lifetime. Talk about a massive setback. But the king? He didn't complain. He accepted it with complete gratitude, trusting it was a perfect arrangement. So, he transforms into Gajendra the elephant. Later on, Gajendra is attacked by a crocodile, and for 1,000 celestial years, he suffers excruciating agony. But in his absolute darkest hour of total helplessness, he remembered his past life. He offered a lotus flower to God with immense, pure love, and just like that, the apparent tragedy set the stage for his complete, direct liberation. Now let's look at the crocodile. This is where it gets wild. The crocodile was actually King Huhoo, another great leader who was cursed to live as an isolated, physically agitated, constantly hungry beast. Both of these kings suffered terribly, as you can see here. But because their curses intersected, because King Huhoo actually got to associate with the devoted Gajendra, they were both fast-tracked to the spiritual world in just one single lifetime. What initially looked like the worst possible curse imaginable was actually their absolute greatest blessing. Which brings us to Section 4. Waves versus the deep. Subtitle: Navigating the Ocean of Material Existence. I absolutely love this analogy. Think about the stark contrast of the ocean. Up on the surface, what do you have? You have these turbulent, chaotic, foaming bubbles and crashing waves that are constantly changing. These surface waves represent our temporary material lives, our changing physical bodies, diseases, our passing temporary successes, our inevitable failures. No wave lasts for more than a few seconds. But if you dive deeper, way below the surface, there is a peaceful, steady, constant current. And that deep current represents the eternal soul and our unbreakable connection to God. The Swami points out that most of us spend our entire lives utterly obsessed with the foaming bubbles on the surface, and we completely ignore the profound depth flowing just below.
And just to prove that absolutely no one is immune to the turbulence of those surface waves, the Swami throws out a truly staggering number: 311 trillion. That is the guaranteed lifespan in years of Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe within this theology. I mean, think about that. He has immense power, no painful physical birth, massive authority, yet even Brahma gets completely bewildered and humiliated by Krishna from time to time. Why? Just to break his illusion of control. If it happens to a being with a 311 trillion year lifespan, it is for sure going to happen to us.
Section 5, Waking Up to Reality. Subtitle, Heeding the Call of Adversity. This leads me to a really vital question, one the Swami directly posed. How do you react when the alarm clock of tragedy strikes? He essentially compares our material existence to a really deep sleep. Setbacks, tragedies, sun reversals, they are exactly like a loud, obnoxious alarm clock. They are not pleasant. No one likes waking up to that sound. But their entire purpose is to wake us up from the deep-seated illusion that we are the ones in control. Which brings us to a term Radhanath Swami coined that is just so spot on and honestly a little funny: snooze control. We hear the alarm clock of a difficult life event. We acknowledge, okay, yeah, I should probably wake up, take my spiritual life seriously, and connect with God. But then what do? We immediately think, I'll do it later. Let me just hit snooze. Let me just secure this promotion first, or wait until the kids are out of the house. Let me just sleep a little longer. But life is incredibly short. Hitting snooze completely robs us of the rare, profound opportunity that's actually embedded in the reversal.
During a deeply moving Q&A segment right after the lecture, a student asked a really thoughtful question. Basically, is it fair that one person struggles their whole life to become a pure devotee, while 21 generations of their family just automatically get liberated? And the Swami used this powerful life raft analogy. He said everyone in the material world is already struggling. We're all like a family drowning in an ocean full of sharks. If you fully embrace your spiritual struggles and you manage to climb onto the only life raft, you aren't just saving yourself. Because you took the raft, God takes a net and scoops up your drowning family as well.
Section 6, Main Points and Summary. Subtitle, Distilling the Wisdom. Let's recap what we've learned. All right, let's bring it all together. Here are our main points to take away from this incredible 2009 lecture. Number 1, reversals are hidden blessings deliberately meant to break our complacency. Number 2, we absolutely must shift our focus from the turbulent surface waves to the deep, steady current of the soul. Number 3, expressing gratitude during adversity is literally the highest form of spiritual practice. Number 4, our daily sadhana, our spiritual practice, is what prepares us for life's inevitable alarm clocks. You don't wait for the championship match to start training. And number 5, true humility is finally realizing and accepting that we are not the controllers.
So, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Are you clinging to the foaming bubbles on the surface, or are you ready to finally dive deep? The next time your alarm clock of adversity rings, and it will ring, what are you going to choose? Will you blame your surroundings, hit snooze, and cling to the surface? Or will you embrace the reversal, express real gratitude, and dive into the deep? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.